Even though it's illegal under international law, Israel has built a dozen settlements, home to about 200,000 Jews in East Jerusalem.
Again, that's another lie. According to Resolution 242 of the UN, lands must be returned for peace. The fact that they don't give us peace and they have the pay-for-slay policy means they're violating the resolution. Therefore, Israel's not doing anything illegal.
First of all, he sounds very confident, but what he's saying makes no legal sense. Authoritative bodies like the UN and the ICJ have repeatedly confirmed that Israel's settlements in the West Bank are illegal, mainly under Article 49 of the First Geneva Convention, regardless of what the Palestinian side does. What worries me most is that many of his followers never bother to check credible sources before coming to my channel and attacking me. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. As some of you know, I took a long break from YouTube, but I'm so happy to be back with a new video about the sailing festival in Amsterdam. I originally planned to keep posting other travel videos like before, but I had to change plans because something unexpected happened while I was away. One of my most watched series in my Palestine travel videos, where I documented the harsh realities Palestinians face in the West Bank. Even though I uploaded those videos a year or two ago, a pro-Israel YouTuber recently reacted to them, and many of his fans got upset and flooded my comment section with trolling and negative remarks. Honestly, I had no idea this was happening during my break, and by the time I came back, it had already been a couple of months, so I wasn't sure at first whether to address it. But after watching his reaction videos, I felt I needed to respond. The problem is that many of his claims aren't based on accurate facts or legal realities. Instead, he uses rhetoric that downplays the illegality and human rights violations of the occupation and settlements by Israel in the West Bank, which I showed in my videos. So I decided to make this video to explain my intentions behind those Palestine videos again, and show why his arguments and a lot of his viewers' comments are inaccurate and misleading, while referring to reliable sources. I don't know how many of his fans will actually watch this, but I hope this video not only shares accurate information, but also highlights the importance of verifying facts before attacking someone, especially on a topic as important as this. To explain the situation for those who aren't entirely familiar with what happened, the YouTuber who reacted to my videos is called Sahar TV. He reacted to two of my videos, one about Hebron and a compilation covering my entire West Bank trip. If you haven't seen my original videos yet, I recommend watching those first, so the points I'm about to discuss will make more sense. As for his reaction, there are so many inaccurate statements that it's hard to know where to start. Let's begin with the part where he calls me a liar, claiming that Israeli settlements in the West Bank are not illegal.
Even though it's illegal under international law, Israel has built a dozen settlements, home to about 200,000 Jews in East Jerusalem.
Again, that's another lie. It was signed as per the Oslo Accords in 1993 that there's going to be Area A, Area B, and Area C. According to Resolution 242 of the UN, lands must be returned for peace. The fact that they don't give us peace and they have the pay-for-slay policy means they're violating the resolution. Therefore, Israel's not doing anything illegal.
First of all, he sounds very confident, but what he's saying makes no legal sense. Authoritative bodies like the UN and the ICJ have repeatedly confirmed that Israel's settlements in the West Bank are illegal, mainly under Article 49 of the First Geneva Convention, regardless of what the Palestinian side does. So the Oslo Accords and the UN Resolution 242 he cites don't give Israel any legal right to build settlements, again regardless of Palestinian actions. Yet he keeps repeating this flawed legal logic throughout his videos.
Now, according to Resolution 242 of the UN, territories must be given back for peace. Because peace is not granted, Israel is not breaking any international law.
What worries me most is that many of his followers never bother to check credible sources before coming to my channel and attacking me. If you have internet access to watch YouTube, it's easy to look up the legal status of the settlements and see the evidence backed by the authoritative organizations. His defense of the Israel separation wall and checkpoint is also inaccurate and misleading. Let's take a look.
The separation wall is only 5% of the fence separating between Israel and the Palestinian Authority Area A and Area B, and it was built for security, not for anything else.
He keeps insisting the wall is purely for security, but that's not true. Much of the wall and other barriers Israel built isn't even on the border. Large sections run deep inside the West Bank, ignoring the actual boundary. The ICJ issued an advisory opinion stating that building the wall inside the West Bank violates international law and has called on Israel to dismantle those sections. He used the same safety argument for the checkpoints.
And after that, the Israeli government decided to build checkpoints and check every single person going into Israel. Why? To make sure they're not carrying weapons or explosives or anything that could risk the well-being of the Israelis.
But again, many checkpoints are not even on the border. They are scattered throughout the West Bank. All of them are controlled by Israel, which means most Palestinians can't move freely within their own territory or leave the West Bank. It's also interesting that he keeps insisting that there are no attacks by Israelis against Palestinians in the West Bank without providing any evidence.
Do you know why it's this way? It's this way because there's no risk for Palestinians living in the West Bank because Israelis are not just going to commit terror attacks at Palestinians.
Unfortunately for him, this has already been refuted by UN agencies and human rights organizations, which confirm settler violence against Palestinians and Israeli military raids that harm civilians, resulting in dozens of Palestinians' deaths every year. As I've said in my past videos, I'm against the killing of innocent civilians in any situations, and if it's done by Israelis or Palestinians, it should be condemned and dealt with legally. The YouTuber also argued that Israel has the right to occupy the West Bank because of ancestral ties to the land. History is important, but it doesn't automatically justify occupation. If it did, why do Americans still live across the US, even though Native Americans were there first? Yes, history is one factor in territorial disputes, but interpretations differ on both the Israeli and Palestinian sides. That's why legal processes, not unilateral action, must determine land status. You can't just build barriers and settlements without a recognized legal claim in today's world. Supporting that essentially rejects international law and the basic idea of legal accountability. I think by now you can see that his claims aren't based on facts or legal evidence at all. Instead, he leans on rhetoric throughout his videos to try to convince viewers, saying things like this.
My name is Hala from Bethlehem. I'm West.
Look at the open-air prison, it's ridiculous.
Hi, how are you?
These people are refugees, yeah?
He keeps repeating these things, but obviously, there is no causal link between people smiling or being friendly and factual legal reality that they're living under illegal settlements and human rights violations. Like, if Ukrainians are having fun, does that mean Russia is not attacking Ukraine? Or if Americans are smiling, does that mean gun violence doesn't exist in the US? It's really flawed logic, and I can't understand why he or so many of his fans buy into it. I showed friendly Palestinian people in my videos because I wanted the viewers to see that even in harsh conditions, they are still human, living their lives as best they can.
What a pathetic, one-sided video being displayed to the world. It's funny how 95% of his explanations sided with the Palestinians rather than with the Israelis.
He tried to claim there was too much information that's bad for Israel, just because I supposedly sided with Palestinians. But as I've explained throughout this video, these are not even personal opinions. I was presenting factual evidence confirmed by authoritative organizations. If you came here from his channel, I strongly encourage you to check those credible sources yourself so you can verify what I've said and get a more objective perspective. And if you watch my original full videos, you can clearly see that I also explained arguments from the Israel side, including historical context and security arguments for the occupation and settlements in the West Bank. I did this because even though these arguments aren't supported under international law, I think it's still important to understand all perspectives to get the full picture. Regardless, I've noticed that many of his fans' comments just say my videos are one-sided or tell me to educate yourself without pointing out what information is actually inaccurate. And also, you don't even see all the comments on your end because YouTube automatically holds back the most harmful ones. Things like racist remarks or slander about me. Why do they do that? Probably because faced with objective evidence, they can't logically refute it. But it makes them uncomfortable, so all they can do is complain or attack. If that sounds like you, don't just get angry that these truths make you uncomfortable. Instead, you need to ask yourself why they make you uncomfortable. I focused on the negative remarks today, but I also want to say how much I appreciate all the supportive comments so many of you have shared. When I posted the Palestine videos, I knew the topic was controversial, but your thoughtful messages have made me glad that I created them. Starting with my next upload, I go back to my usual travel videos and I'm excited to share more of the world with you. Thank you and I'll see you in the next video.